Good evening. You
Hello,
muted?
hello.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it auto mutes me. I don't know. It knows I'm going to be talking some
No,
crap.
I do that.
Oh,
That's my fault. I'm just sharing this out.
there we go. Are you
Just,
going to the store? Okay.
you really want to go to the store at 6 p.m.?
Yeah, well, see, he is in charge of dinner tonight, and he has not felt very well since he's like a cycle off of his Botox, and his insurance changed. So he did not have his meds, and they're like addictive meds for the
Oh,
last 2 weeks, and so he had nothing for his headaches because tramadol does not help with headaches. It helps with the muscle tightness that causes headaches, but it doesn't help migraines. All he had was his rescue meds, and so he was not functioning. And today was his day to cook, and so he was going to make tacos and realized we do not have beans. So,
beans.
refried beans for tacos.
It's what happens when you got to live with only crack as pain medication.
Crack.
Yeah, crack. Can't you tell I'm skinny? I'm on crack.
I think you're still delusional.
So does Tylenol and ibuprofen not help?
Doesn't touch it. Well, they've got him on what do they call that? They got him on tramadol. They've got him on quite a few narcotics.
Wow.
So, and like one day he didn't take his meds at all, and by the next day he was sick. I'm talking withdrawal sick. So, Sean, Tom, Mark, Joe. Yeah, so yeah, it's been pretty bad. But now, somehow, I mean, all of a sudden, just straightened out all the insurance and everything's back to normal. So,
Wow. And I'm kind of worried about how my insurance is going to be now that everything has changed.
yeah, they cobraed you, didn't they?
I have no idea. I haven't heard anything about insurance or Medicaid or Medicare. I just heard, you know, everything is changing. So the whole world has changed this week. Uh,
It has.
some people like some of these changes. Some people don't like some of these changes. It just all depends on where you fall on
Yeah.
what you follow.
Yeah, on our Greeley page, I think I told you last week that I started putting in a positive post every day because I'm so sick of seeing the crap.
Yes, you have.
And I'm telling you, on one of those positive posts, somebody was able to get political and start some bullshit. I'm like, how in the hell, off of something that had nothing to do with anything, nothing.
People just want to slip it right on in there.
So today I was like, you know what? Y'all need to ignore all this negativity. You know, don't feed it. If you feed it, it's gonna continue. Ignore it like it's not there. It will go away. Just like a person, you ignore them, they do go away.
Eventually, yeah.
I did that to my exes. They go away. Robert, Amy, yeah, okay. Yeah, so
Need
that's
plenty of cushions where I fall.
huh?
What Robert just said, need plenty of cushions where I fall.
Why would you fall? Where did that come from? Boy, what planet you on today? Hi, Joanne.
Hello. So yeah, everything has changed this week. Um, what 150 executive orders already just in these last 4 days?
You know, I
Something like
have not even looked because the three things that people want to talk about are the prominent things that have been in the spotlight. So, oh, were they? Okay.
that.
Um, but yeah, I have no problem. I I just don't want to see it during the week because then it just pisses me off while I'm trying to deal with customers that are already pissed off, and then my attitude goes to shit, and theirs is worse. And no,
Yeah.
I choose to be positive because we can't change it. We just can't.
We can't. Um, there are some more ridiculous things that he did sign.
Now,
Change the name of Golf of Mexico to Golf of America.
yeah, because
Really
everybody's gonna call it.
necessary? Well, I read up a little bit. From what I'm understanding, the top half is going to be Gulf of America. The bottom half is going to be Gulf of Mexico.
Okay,
That's
well,
it just depends on which side of the border it falls on. And that makes it even more confusing.
leave well enough alone. You have other things to do than change names.
Yeah,
Just leave shit alone. Now, as far as there's only two genders, okay, I can go with that.
I get that.
I can go with that. I don't think we should have cat. And I understand people that are non-binary. I do understand that, but you do have a sex.
Yes.
You don't have to go by either one. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. But you do have a sex. If you're confused, look down your pants. You'll know which one it is. It's perfectly fine. But if you choose that you don't want to abide by either one, fine. He can't stop you from doing that.
There's also another one that I think was signed today, or it could have been yesterday, um, that ends the federal diversity. Um, what was it?
He's taken a lot of rights away. I will say that he's taken a lot of rights away. Um,
Yeah, I am all. Here's where I fall on that one. I am all for diversity.
mhm.
I got no issue with that. But what I am not for is diversity for diversity's sake.
Yeah, yeah. Well, a lot of people are really confused from what I'm seeing on our page here. A lot of people are really confused about the 14th Amendment. Um, they are confused that he's saying that he's going to, it's about abortion. It is not. That is not what the whole thing's about. Let's calm down, back up, and look at facts before you start, running that mouth. I am not for him at all. I've made that perfectly clear, but we don't need to be saying falsehoods either to make things worse. We just don't. Things are bad enough. We don't need that. But the deportation thing is what people are jumping on. There's memes about your neighbors getting deported, and it's getting crazy, and it's getting hurtful to people.
I got to say, first off, good evening, guys. Secondly, at work, as I've always talked to you guys about in our cafe area, we got televisions obviously throughout our cafe, and they've been showing the news. They've been having the news channels on constantly. I've heard so much about it that it just becomes so irritating. to me. I just can't watch it anymore. Hey, Denise.
It is irritating. It really is. And the fact that all we can do is put our vote in. That is
Yep.
all we can do. And
Yep.
we have done that. And you know, the majority has ruled. We put in our vote. Now we can continue to vote for the laws in our states and in our country. That's perfectly fine. But to bash things that we cannot change, and to bash people that have nothing to do with it. Do you think that person knows your name? Absolutely not. He doesn't. And he doesn't give two shits about your name.
Right.
You know, so why are you losing friends and family over something that nobody can change other than a vote? That's all you can do. You vote and
Exactly.
leave it alone.
What gets me is that just because somebody votes for Donald Trump, it automatically means, oh, you vote for rape, you
Yeah,
vote for
yeah.
sex offenders. Okay, I can understand that to a degree,
Hmm.
but you got to realize that there are more behind him than what you're going with. You are just going with the absolute worst. And the same thing for, if you support Kamala Harris.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Right.
people are going extreme. And this election was probably one of the most important ones where it is, you know, one side versus the other because they are so different and so extreme, and people are so scared of what could happen either way. So it
And
was very
rightfully so.
volatile.
Well, I was basically, if you want to really think about it, I was kind of one of those because before they even started getting the answers in just the night before, and as crazy as it's going to sound, this might even have actually contributed to what eventually led to my brain bleeds. Was I was just so full of anxiety, not just from what was going to happen, but also from the lack of sleep from thinking about it so much. I mean, up until really after the election and so forth, I probably hadn't slept in like a day and a half. So it really took its toll on myself because I was pretty much one of those people. I was just as scared and worried as everybody else was.
But let's go back from now to then. Could you change anything?
No, you couldn't.
You did your vote. You did what you could do. It's not in our hands after that. There's
Right.
no reason to freak out. It's not in our hands after that.
I guess it was just the thought of it just got really too intense for me that I just couldn't stop thinking about it. I mean, I knew then that voting that was all we could do, but the anxiety was just this was probably one of the most intense times of anxiety I think I ever went through in my entire life.
Well, it was an intense, an extremely intense thing for the entire country.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Hey, what's up, Heather? Yeah,
It
it was.
was.
And if you really think, even though this was mainly just for the entire country, I mean, as you guys know, talk with so many investigators from other countries overseas. And a lot of them, they were just as concerned, even though that was completely out of their hands. They were kind of feeling the same way we did here. No doubt about that.
So here are some of the things that he did the executive order on the day of.
Hey, Jenny.
One was withdrawing the United States from the World Health Organization.
Yep.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
We won't know until it plays out.
Yeah. And the thing is, he withdrew the country from it during the first presidency.
Hmm.
And, well, wait, did he?
I don't know. I
Or
don't.
was that the Paris climate?
Yeah.
He withdrew us from one during the first presidency. Then Biden put us back in, and now he's taking us back
Taking
out.
us out again. And which probably in a few years, whoever takes over after him is probably going to put us back in once again. It's just,
It depends on if it's a Republican or a Democrat.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like right now this country is a yo-yo.
Yep.
So I don't know if that's a good thing. There was also a
Well,
crop proclamation. I can't speak.
I know it's another one of those tough words.
Okay, Chuck.
But
Did you listen to what was said before? We're we're talking about what has been done.
yeah,
We understand he's our president. We understand that we've done what we can by voting. What we're discussing is the good and bad of what he's done.
right.
And I know that there's nothing we can do about it. And yes, we can complain about it, but there is nothing we can do. And some of the things he enacts might be good. That's what we're saying. And some of the things may not be. It has to play out.
Reality is, it's like no matter who's present. I mean, let's just let's we also cannot forget the fact, like we always hear this term all the time. No one is perfect. And in the
No,
case when it comes to
absolutely not.
presidents, when
Wait,
it comes to presidents, they are no exception, whether you like them or not.
hey, I'm here. Of course,
Yeah.
people are perfect.
Okay. Let's kind of go off topic here just for a moment, because our friend Scott Wilson has launched the second season of his show Paranormal Jackass tonight, and him, Tim Kohler, and Jason Morales were were talking, and I think it was Tim that said none of us are perfect, or no, Scott said that, and I made a comment that if we were perfect, everything, the whole world would be born. We would have nothing to work toward to better ourselves. Because if we
Right.
were perfect, what motivation do we have for anything?
Right.
So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there.
No,
Um,
that's definitely a
Daniel,
good thought. It's kind of ironic how Tim said something similar to what I just said. I watched a little bit of that show earlier this evening, but I didn't have enough time, so I wasn't at that part when he said it.
I was at work, so I had it muted, but I was watching. As far as my thoughts on people from other countries having an opinion, do you mean ones that live here from another country or that live there and are looking in?
John, she
Jan,
knows she is.
my love, how are
okay,
you? She
let's
is,
let's all just admit Jan is perfect.
Yeah, she
Yes.
is.
she is perfectly insane.
There you go. Um,
Around the world looking in. That's what she's saying.
You know, I would love to have other people's opinions simply because we all have so many different ones, but we're here. And it's just like, when you are raising your kids and they don't see aunt and uncle for 6 months, then they see them and they're like, wait, they've grown up and you don't see it like they do.
right.
So I do like hearing other people's opinions.
I just want to
And
say
plus, at the same time, whatever happens here will eventually reverberate to other countries.
well, especially
Unfortunately,
our neighboring countries in this case, like Canada and Mexico. They're the first, they would be the first ones. I mean, I got to just say, like what Joanne just said. I mean, Joanne, you're not the first from Canada that has said that to me. I've spoken
yes,
with
of course, Jimmy.
A lot of
yeah.
people think she
Please.
did that job.
And Matt Grant has said
Oh,
the
yeah,
same
yeah.
thing too.
There is another one. I can't find it, at least not on this day one thing that I do agree with, where the drug cartel in Mexico are now labeled as terrorist groups.
They absolutely are.
They,
Yeah.
They
they
are
really are. I mean,
terrorists.
people always think I actually agree with that too, because like people sometimes think when it comes to like the drug cartels and stuff, they're just like your typical gang members on the street. No, they're actually far more than that. They are extremely dangerous, and it's been going on for so many decades now. So I
Yeah.
would definitely label them as a terrorist group.
Yeah, they absolutely are.
And the fact that they haven't been labeled as such officially is really kind of mind boggling.
People are
If you
scared
even
of them.
if you even look at like again, even some of the most powerful prison gangs out there, like the Mexican Mafia or MS-13 or Nuestra Familia, like most of those are from California, but they are among some of the which, ironically enough, Mexican Mafia, Nuestra Familia, that represent Northern and Southern California, they actually are very bitter enemies. They hate each other, but even though they've been at war with each other since like the early 70s, they have revolved around that same characteristic of the drug cartels, and they're among not only just the most feared of prison gangs, but they too have become kind of like terrorist groups themselves, because not only do they take over the prisons, they want to take over the streets, and that's when they have all those what's known as the Sureños and Norteños gangs, Northerners and Southerners.
You know more than I do about all that, because
I've watched several gang shows.
He knows everything a lot more than most people do.
Well, and there is history behind it. You know me with my history knowledge, but you get the idea, though.
Here it is. I found it. His 25th one, designating cartels and other organizations as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorists. So, yes, I absolutely agree with
Yes.
that one.
Yes. My mom even said that to me once, like saying, if you're going after basically like these criminal organizations or again like these terrorist groups, then by all means they need to go, like because they're not just only being a threat to just like certain areas. I mean, they're being a whole threat to the entire country because it's not just specifically to just one area; it's all over the country, and sometimes it's even gone beyond that too.
okay.
Let's see. There's another one here. I'm kind of on the fence of protecting the meaning and value of American citizenship. And that, I believe, is the birthright citizen. Uh-oh.
Pickle Tom. I love what Tom does.
What what happened, Adrian?
I, you know, Zach just went to the store.
Yes.
I just got a picture of eggs, 18 count, 12 fucking 24.
Almost doubled in price for you guys?
Almost $13. Fucking 18. No, no.
Or 18 count.
The 18 count.
Okay, last week you were telling us the 12 counts.
Yes. And that was $7. 18 counts, 13. This is getting stupid.
Wow.
This is not okay. He goes, look at those groceries go down.
Like
Oh,
what Tom just said, there's an
okay,
egg shortage right now due
a
to some
lot of
chicken.
comments coming in.
There is.
Now, what have we missed?
There's a huge,
What
but you know what?
came here was
This summer, I am getting chickens. I'm done with this shit. I'm getting chickens.
Getting real chickens. Wow.
Would you be allowed to have chickens in the city limits?
Yes.
Okay.
I can only have one rooster though.
Okay. Okay. What Jenny was asking if she could comment, she
Yeah.
said, okay, we don't pay taxes there. Oh, so here. But I will say American president decisions affect the world, which it does.
Yes.
And Trump owns land here in Ireland. That would not surprise me, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'd absolutely love to hear it.
Sorry, what was that, Adrian? No, I was just saying to what Tom said, but what were you saying, Adrian?
No, I told Jenny I'd love to hear it. Hear the opinion.
Tom, what Tom started to say is, look at all those chickens. He's getting that from a show that I used to watch.
And the other Tom,
Yeah, Tom McNicholas.
yeah, I have more important things to worry about than politics, which honestly we all do.
Yes. You
But
guys see my
his,
post?
his is far more legitimate because he has impending back surgery coming up.
Yes.
So
Well, as you guys, I don't know if you guys saw my post from a few days ago. I mean, even after the inauguration, I just said, I'm just not gonna think or say anything about it. I'm just gonna get back to working on my audiobooks so I can just because I got more focus on that, and more importantly, I want to get those done so I can get back to getting the Nick files back up online.
I don't say anything on post because I know there's a lot of people on there that they're going to be crybabies about it,
Yeah.
and I don't have
Hey
time
there.
to deal with it. No matter
Which
which way I swing, I don't care. Your opinion is yours, mine is mine.
Yep.
to me, whenever I have said like what I said about my audiobooks, I think to me it's just kind of more of a distraction, just to distract myself, so I don't keep thinking about, especially after when you hear it on the news. But also, you know, I was fortunate too when I said I'm just going to focus on something I just enjoy doing, and no one ever complained about it. I think it was regardless of what their political views were. It even says as if you guys read, it even says in the bottom, time to get back to something, to create and present something that everybody likes, regardless of politics.
Oh, so before Zach comes back home, because I know he ain't watching this, yesterday he got a text that his uncle, the one that's always comes here, Uncle Barry, he's got 3 months or less to live.
Oh,
And he knew that the last time he saw him. He knew that'd be the last time he saw him. Um, and mom and dad left this morning, or this afternoon, and went with his brother to Montana. And they're going to go see him. I really wish Zach could have went just because he needed to. But yeah, it's going to be a hard few months for him.
right. How old
On the
is he?
bright side, oh, he's older. He's in his 70s, and he served in the military. He bought plots for mom, dad, him, his dad. As a matter of fact, he's carrying his dad's urn with him now, and it'll be buried in the plot. They bought like a body size plot, and they could put all of them in there. Small town, they don't care.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so it's going to be a real interesting few months.
Well, he should try to get up there if he can.
He he can't. I mean, he could have went with them, but there was too many in the car to start with.
Well, how long are they planning on staying up there until such
Mm-mm.
time that he passes, or
No, no, but we think it's going to be a lot sooner than the 3 months they gave him because he pretty much said his goodbyes. So we know. I sent a little cross that somebody carved for me, and it's where you can hold it like this and it fits your fingers. Because the last thing he said, we said, is there anything we can do for you? He said, pray for me. So I sent that little cross down for him, up for him. I know I won't see him again, but it's one of those things that it's gonna be hard. But on the bright side, I do get to clean up stairs tomorrow with everybody gone. They said they'd be gone a couple of days. Dad's battling gout right now, like can hardly walk, so I made him take the wheelchair.
ooh, no. I had
And
Hey, Ed.
well, maybe if you're able to surprise him, say, "Okay, pack up, we're going to Montana."
no, you think I'm riding in a vehicle in Montana in this snow? You're lost your
I
damn.
was gonna say, like, it's got to be even more brutal up in Montana than it is in Colorado.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough couple of weeks for all of us. My son
Yeah.
just had a bunch of his teeth removed. He's going to the
Ooh,
ER tomorrow um, because the pain won't stop. Um, the 4th, I have my mammogram and ultrasound redone. The 6th, Zach gets Botox. And the 7th, my grandson is having a heart procedure done. They're doing an ablation on his heart. So it's going to be,
Yeah, I think you talked about that one before.
yeah. So it hit my daughter hard today because she got the pre op papers and She was like, "This is getting real, Mom.
Shit's getting real. Yep.
It's
Yeah.
getting real." I wish I could be there because she's going to be by herself,
Uh,
but I can't. So we get to sit by the phone and go, "Okay, what news? What's going on? News?" And Jan's been dealing with her grandson, so it's been fun all the way around.
yeah, I've been seeing a few things about that with her too.
Yeah, we got a couple new issues popping up here. Dad's hip is not doing real well. I put him on a heating pad today.
Do you think it's like maybe broken or anything like that, or
He thinks it's arthritis. I asked him if there was something that he did that might have jarred it, and he said no. He just woke up Sunday morning. It was hurting him.
see?
Yeah,
It's a strange coincidence that you said that because you guys have seen her in my pictures whenever I go out. I have a friend of mine, Rochelle, as you guys have probably seen in some of my pictures. Her dad actually just had an. I actually explained this on Don's show the other day. Her dad just had kind of an accident a few days ago. He fell down the stairs and broke his hip, and obviously they had to take him to the hospital. Fortunately, they thought he was going to he was rushed into surgery. They thought it was going to be a full hip replacement, but thankfully it was just a partial one. But even still, they don't. There were no witnesses, so it's not really known exactly what caused him to fall down the stairs. He might have just most likely missed a step, and he's 78 years old. So um,
that's serious.
it was, but the surgery thankfully was a success. They were able to get it. He's still not. Take care, Denny.
See you in there,
Uh,
Denny. You didn't say hi.
Yeah, so he's in the hospital for a few more days to recuperate, and then he'll be sent home. And over the next, I think, 3 to 6 weeks, he's going to be going through physical therapy. So, there. So it's kind of weird that you said the same. You kind of said something similar in this case, like for your dad, Jeremy. Of course, the big difference was there was no accident in this case, but I don't know. It just seems like it's just been a bad time for a lot of people's hips lately.
Yeah.
Well, it is winter,
Yeah,
and
it is.
cold affects a lot of people, especially those that have metal implants. Which I'm actually kind of surprised that his shoulder is not bothering him because everything's titanium. So
Oh,
I'm
really?
yeah. So well, remember shortly after my incident, he had to have his shoulder replaced.
That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, yeah.
So I'm actually, and he doesn't go outside. I take care of everything for him. I get the mail, and he only goes outside, to take out the trash, or if he has a doctor's appointment, um, not read in that area, I'll ask him.
That's probably
Um,
something to actually. That's a good point she made. Yeah.
so I take care of everything, but so he doesn't go outside unless he absolutely has to. But generally, even when you're inside, when it's wintertime, people still can feel it in their implants.
Right.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. Zach's
he
ankle,
hasn't said anything about it.
yeah, Zach's ankle and his neck, where he has the metal rods, is pretty. It gets bad.
And I don't feel anything in my face when I'm out in the cold, and I do the shoveling and everything, but I never feel anything.
Yeah, I don't, but I don't have anything metal in
I
me.
was gonna say I wish I could say the same. Which, Jeremy, you guys, well, obviously you guys would have had the wind chill that we had earlier this week when it was like 0 below. Uh, earlier this. Oh my. Well, let me tell you guys something. And
Totally not me.
well, you should be lucky. And Robert actually knows the story because I talked to him
No,
about.
I wasn't.
Well, Robert knows the story because I was talking about it also on Fear Fans, where I had to go to work that day, and of course, as you guys know, there's times I have to work in the back of the building, and there's no air conditioning, there's no heat, so the back of the building was practically a freezer in itself, and that's not enough. I had to go in the freezer a few times to grab what I needed to take the stuff out on the cart and bring it out to the store. And I'm telling you guys, that was even worse. And even though I had gloves on, my hands were freezing so bad.
Mm-hmm.
It was like beginning. It was like burning. It began to hurt like hell, and I had to stop
Yep.
what I was doing, run to the break room, run into the bathroom, which thankfully was a run room bathroom. Thankfully, it was open, and I had to use the hand dryer to warm my hands. That's how bad it got for me, and it hurts like hell.
Well, you remember before I got hurt that I drove a forklift.
Yeah,
There's a few times right next to our warehouse. There's also what we call the box, which is the frozen warehouse.
the frozen warehouse. Okay.
Yeah, and we get shipment coming in. We got to take it out into the freezer, into the box. And there was one. I forget what the circumstance was. It was not normal for us, but we had to take about 100 pallets out into the box,
Wow.
and it was just two of us, and we had to get it all done that day.
Right. Right.
So, granted, we were, let's see, it would take about a minute and a half because it was all the way in the far end of that aisle, which was about 3 times the length of the aisles that we had. So we had to go all the way to the end and put this stuff down now, and come all the way back. It was a pain in the ass.
Oh, I'm sure it must have.
Fingers.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've never drove a forklift myself, but I could certainly imagine. I mean, I could
Yeah.
definitely, I can relate to that in some way because even though never done forklifts, I have done pallet jacks. On the other hand,
Yeah. So while driving the forklift, you got that cold air rushing at
yep, that sucks. Well, you know what makes it even
you.
worse too for us, and you guys probably had the same thing at this warehouse was where even the back of the building it even got colder when you had the receiving area and the dock door was open. We had the trucks come in and stuff. So now you're letting all that cold air from outside into the building.
Hi, Joshua.
Hey, Josh.
Josh, did I hear right that Florida got a record amount of snow?
Oh, very
They
good.
certainly have. They really have. I couldn't believe it. And not just Florida. Same with like southern Mississippi, Alabama, and I think partially the Carolinas.
I don't care about those states. Florida, the Sunshine State.
You didn't see all the pictures with the palm trees covered in snow?
No, I just remember somebody had posted a picture. They live in Florida, and a whole bunch of them went out there, stuck a measuring stick in the snow. Now, wait a minute. You're in Florida. That's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, it's not.
And it was a lot more than we got here in Colorado.
Yeah. Oh, and yeah, it's crazy down there. From what I couldn't believe it when I heard it the first time I saw it. I thought to myself, "What? You're joking? Florida's getting snow?"
Yeah,
I mean, I said that yes for the other states, the southern parts of them, but still, out of all the states, Florida at most was getting snow. That is just insane.
we got some flurries here that just a real thin layer today.
Yeah, we did too. That was probably the same system we had when it showed up here. It actually came during the middle of the night. So, yeah, Josh is confirmed. Yep, we too far south.
Gee,
No
I
ice required in the
I
drinks.
was raised in Florida, and I don't recall ever seeing snow down there. I did not see my first snow until I came up to Indiana.
I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of people say like who are from Florida and some of the other states, but especially Florida. They all had said this. I think Denise was actually one of them saying like we're supposed to be called the Sunshine State for a reason, and there's all these complaints about all the snow down in Florida. Josh says we've had it twice in my 35 years here.
So there you go.
Well, I kind of figured that I'm sure Florida has had snow, but I think I was going to, or Florida has had snow, but
Not
not,
when you're in the tropics.
I was going to say not very commonly, though. Next,
The whole weather system really, all around, is screwed up. Because lately it seems like we're not getting our first snow until January now.
right? I just, you know, I don't know if I've talked about this before. I always usually liked it when it was winter, obvious, like, of course, when it's, the holiday Christmas season. And just a few weeks ago, I saw a photograph here in Chicago of Chicago Water Tower, the surviving structure from the Great Fire of 1871. This was a picture that was taken back in 1989 and December of 89, and there's like snow all over the city. And right below that, it was not like supposed to be a meme. It was just like one of those pictures that had a caption on the bottom of it saying, back when we used to have white Christmases here in Chicago. That had a meaning to it because we just don't get them anymore. I mean, the last time we really had, let's say, a white Christmas or December overall was back in 2016. We haven't had another big one like that since then. And I remember growing up in the mid to late 90s and early 2000s. We used to get them every year. They were a lot. We even had some in November. They
We
were a
had
lot.
a white Christmas 2 years ago.
What's that?
We had a white Christmas 2 years ago.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Josh. So Josh moved to Florida in September of '89. I moved out of Florida in June of '89.
Sean makes a good point. Makes me wonder what the tornado season will be like. Didn't they already say that there was already stuff happening already?
I'm not sure it ever quit.
Well, here's the thing. What most people sometimes fail to realize is that tornado season never truly ends. Instead, it just moves around. And from what I remember, I got a bit among my videos I have of weather videos. I have one
Oh
that,
my God,
whoa,
I haven't seen
God,
it.
oh my
I
God.
haven't seen it in a
Kind of
while.
ironic. We're talking about this stuff, and here's John. Long time no see.
Yeah, he's the storm chaser.
He must have heard somebody say the word tornado.
Yep, probably. But what I
I'll
was
be
going to
right back.
among the videos that I have, I do remember in a documentary, at least I know it was made back in the 90s, but still, I'll throw it out anyway. There was one video that described what the tornado season is like for each month. And from what I remember hearing this case during this time of the year, in January and February, most tornadoes usually occur alongside the coast of the Gulf of Mexico.
Well, another thing to think about too is tornadoes usually happen, spring, summer, fall time. So once it's winter here, the tornadoes are going down south.
That's what I mean. That's why they usually would be around the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. That's why you see more of them occur during this time of the year
No,
than
I'm
usually.
talking Africa, South
Yeah.
Australia, if they get them.
Yep. Oh, they get them a few times. They definitely get them every now and then.
Yeah, so while we may not be getting them, they are, because
There was
it's changed.
even I saw this was from a few months ago. Even China just had a very devastating tornado hit. I don't remember obviously which city, but China's been getting hit hard recently. I mean, it has been rough for them. And believe it or not,
If it hits Hong Kong.
I'm not sure if it hit Hong Kong. I'm going to have to go back.
No,
But
I'm saying, can you imagine if
if it hit Hong Kong? Yeah, that's a very good
that
point.
city is?
Japan's been getting quite a bit of the tsunamis and the
Yep.
earthquakes and the volcanoes and all
And
of
they
that.
got nowhere to go.
Look at this. John here says this last season was freaking brutal, which he's right. I've seen a lot of his pictures, and he
8
said,
tornadoes 60 miles from my new place.
wow.
I'll tell you what, tornadoes? Okay, fine. I will stand on the rooftop until it starts getting very calm. But these snowstorms and this crap going on, no.
Did you guys see? I gotta ask because since we're talking about different weather systems, especially tornadoes, did you guys see that video from? I mean, obviously with the ongoing fires that are going on in California, there was a video of two fire tornadoes, or fire nados as they're sometimes called, like coming at each other.
No.
And
Honestly,
it was
I
the
haven't
most
heard anything about
craziest
the fires in
thing I've
about
ever seen. Oh
Oklahoma
well,
City. Oh yeah, yeah.
oh well, I said this before actually, Josh, but I've learned that parts of Oklahoma City have been hit, I think, over almost 95 times since
Oh
18.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
I mean, I've done my research basically because I probably said this before, but I'll say it again. There's a common misconception when it comes to tornadoes. People think that they only strike rural areas and open countrysides, and although we usually associate with them with those areas, they can and do hit downtown urban populated areas, villages, and cities. And in fact, in this case, parts of Oklahoma City. Actually, no, it just came back to me. They've been hit over 93 times since 1890. So, and we'll continue to keep going.
yeah.
So it's
Well,
been almost 100 times since they've been hit.
Hang on, I want to ask John a question. John, have you seen the new movie Twisters? 'Cause
Oh, that was
I enjoyed the hell out of that movie.
me too. I
the
saw
new
it at
one.
the new one. Yeah, I saw it at a drive-in.
Okay, so that new one that they're just making, I don't even know if it's out yet. But last year, that was filmed in my daughter's town where she
Really?
lives.
Nice.
And they block everything off, and it's a whole big thing. But I got to see the set, which I'm sure is going to look absolutely nothing like the film actually is going to look.
Yeah, I thought Twisters was really good, especially the technology that they were talking about of being able to predict a tornado and then also destroy a tornado. If we actually had technology like that now, um, that would change so much, especially in Tornado Valley.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I live 4.5 hours from Oklahoma City, and uh, in Veneta, Veneta is more of a, I mean, it's flat as you can get, but it's still in a little bit of a valley where they didn't get hit. Like, I couldn't tell you when it was ever destroyed, but we used to stand on the rooftops and watch. The same in Kentucky. We'd stand
Oh
on
yeah.
the rooftops and just watch it, and then when it goes completely silent, that's when you go, okay, I'm done. You don't wait to hear that train. You just,
Well,
okay,
that's it.
I'm done.
I don't know if you guys ever saw that video. Well, I know we were kind of getting to know each other by this time, but I did a video very much like that where I filmed outside my porch and we were under a tornado warning, and then the sirens started going off and the wind
I think
started
I
picking.
remember you doing that.
Yeah, the wind started really picking up. There was like a roar, and then I see this huge flash like right in front. I'm thinking, okay, that's it, time to go. And
Yeah,
I
because I remember thinking, what the hell is wrong with you?
That's when it's
yeah, once that big flash came, I'm thinking, all right, show's over. I mean, that was, and I mean, at that point, I was shaking. I was scared. You could hear me in the video, and as I'm running towards the door, just trying to get the door open, you hear this huge crash of thunder. So it got to that point where I knew I was in big trouble. And as soon as I shut off the video, my brother was napping actually that day because he works a night shift in a Marriott. So he was sleeping during the day. And I told him, look, we got to get downstairs now.
Yeah,
And so, I mean, I didn't want to try to be rude to him, but it came to that realization where not only was this a hazardous situation, but it literally was a life and death situation. So we were able to get downstairs, and even though I seemed kind of a little bit harsh to him, he later thanked me, knowing that okay, this is serious. Thankfully, we also had the cats down here, but yeah, for when it comes to something like that, I knew the fun was over at that point.
Adrian just posted a meme about 20 minutes ago. It's pretty
So,
funny. It
John,
says, "Don't ever put me in a situation where I have to step out of character because I'll show you some colors you didn't know came in the crayon box. I like that.
John now, he just made some interesting comments here. Let's see here. He said, first off, even though I've never been there, I'm no stranger to the town of Moore, Oklahoma. So Moore, Oklahoma, on the other end, has been hit 64 times since 1952, which I'm not surprised. The most notorious, undoubtedly, was the May 3rd, 1999 tornado, and the one that also struck Moore in
How
May.
do you remember these dates?
I got, again, look over here. These are all weather videos I got here. I got documentaries on the May 3rd, 1999 tornado.
You know what? I'm going to do this. Did, there's no other option. There we go.
Yeah, May 20th, 2013. That's right, John. I was trying to think of the other one. They were both F5 and EF5 tornadoes, and they were two tornadoes that literally, despite being years apart, they at one point in one area of Moore, the paths are crossed literally as an X.
Now, Jenny, I have a question for you. Let's see. Right now in Ireland, we're going into a hurricane.
Hmm.
That didn't. I don't ever remember hearing anything about Ireland getting hurricanes. So I'm kind of
I
curious.
don't remember either. I know they sometimes get the remnants of hurricanes. Like, let's say, for example, to throw an example out, when Hurricane Mitch struck Central America back in 1998, it made this curve. It passed over Mexico, passed over Gulf of Mexico, then into southern Florida, continued out to the Atlantic Ocean, and it wasn't a hurricane at that point anymore, but it became an extratropical cyclone. And the remnants of Hurricane Mitch, the extratropical cyclone remains, uh, did end up affecting parts of the UK and Ireland. Of course, the effects were far greater than what Central America was, and Hurricane Mitch, of course, was also one of the deadliest hurricanes in world history at that time.
Well, and we don't get a lot of news from Ireland either.
No, we don't.
Well, Jenny just sent me some pictures here.
Yeah,
There
I was
is
going to say, Jeremy,
storm.
you were frozen, but now you're back, I think.
Jenny just sent me some pictures here. They have a storm warning for Storm Eowyn. Jenny, am I saying that right? Eowyn.
Never heard of that sound before.
It's EOWYN with the little slash mark above the E. Eowyn. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Also, I'm kind of curious because you're a small island. Do you get tornadoes there too?
That's what I wonder. I know they get water spouts, but I don't know if they've actually had real tornadoes. That's a really good question. Um,
Also,
John,
want to ask Kate if she's still watching. If
the UK has had tornadoes, definitely.
okay,
Um,
It's
in
oh,
like
fact,
Owen, she said.
it's
okay,
like Owen. Okay.
yeah.
Worst,
Sometimes it's hard with the different pronunciations.
I know. See, from my history research, the most destructive tornado outbreak I've ever heard, I know about, that in this case struck the UK, was back in December of 1954, and that was when 7 tornadoes touched down and hit parts of London. Surprisingly, nobody was killed, but that was the last time the UK had actually been struck by a major tornado outbreak. Since then, for over 70 years, they usually get a lot of the weaker ones. They've never got like the EF4 and EF5 ones, or the wedge shaped ones. And of course, again, they usually also get the water spouts too.
So right now, this warning that Jenny sent me is for uh, well, technically today for her. Um, the entire country, the entire island, is under a warning.
I'm not surprised.
Yesterday, it was showing a yellow warning. So they have different warning signs. So they have, like the triangle yield sign that we have.
Yep.
Well, for them, the point is up, and it's got the exclamation mark on it. Yellow yesterday, today is red. So
Okay.
it looks like they're getting ready to get hit
Oh
today.
boy.
Yeah. Um, Now, as far as classifications for them, I don't know how it goes. Like for us, it's like what is it, Nick? Like tropical storm,
Tropical storm warning or
under
hurricane
hurricane.
warning, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so I don't know if that's across the board for all the countries.
I know some of them have followed the same thing, but I'm not entirely sure for Ireland.
Okay, but right here it just says Storm Owen.
Okay.
Um, let's see, possible. So
John said I wanted to say this quick. John says he has photos of the address of the house that was hit by both tornadoes in Oklahoma City from 99 and 2013.
okay, and Jenny, I think, is in Dublin County.
I,
Is that right?
I think so.
So that's lit. That is listed for wind warning, status red. So I think that's safe to say the highest warning. Um, from 6 o'clock Friday morning, which is 4 hours from now, until 12 o'clock on on Friday.
Jenny,
I'm
do
not,
you have like any shelter where you can go if something happens? Like, are they looking at tornadoes or hurricanes?
Jenny said there is a plane from Washington and Shannon Airport ready to go into it. I'm in I'm sorry, I don't want to feel
Drogheda?
like Yetta. I hope
Well,
we're saying that
that's
right.
the city that she lives in.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, unless
She says they're in the red.
these are cities they must be listing here. It
I'm
doesn't
just
say.
wondering, do they have like shelters? Like
Okay,
getting
Kate's here.
shelters?
Yeah. Kate, well
Kate, how often did you guys get hit with tornadoes just in England in general, um, and also the tropical storms, hurricanes? Because Jenny's telling us about what they're getting ready to get hit
Yeah,
with.
John, that's what Jenny said.
Yep.
They are in a red warning. That's why I'm trying to figure out if she has shelter because this is not
Well,
good.
Yeah.
Sean makes a good point. I mean, in this case, like let's say for England in this
So
case.
4 hours.
As long as the
Tornado.
conditions
We have no shelters, and oh gosh.
Oh
So,
wow.
so what happens? What did they direct you to do? Like go into a center room or?
Sean also made a good point too. I mean, no matter whether it's England or Ireland or wherever, as long as the conditions are right, you can have a tornado anywhere. So it
Yeah,
doesn't
this
Well,
is history making, but the history that you're making, we don't want to involve you.
right. It's incredibly rare to get tornadoes in the UK. Yep, just like what I said. Usually just mini ones off the coast, either the water spouts or the very weak, like EF0, EF1 tornadoes.
So in this one in here that Jenny sent me, it says possible impacts, danger to life, extremely dangerous traveling conditions, cancellation of events, wave overtopping, coastal flooding in low-lying and exposed areas, unsafe working conditions, fallen trees, impacts to communication networks, significant and widespread power outages, structural damage, disruption, and cancellations of transport. So that seems like a typical thing that we would get for our tornadoes in hurricanes.
Hurricane evacuations.
Yeah.
Hotels are open for homeless. Country is closed unless frontline people. So literally, the borders are literally shut down. Nobody can leave or enter Ireland until this is passed.
So that's a good question. Jenny, as far as you all's homeless, how do they deal with them there? This bugs the shit out of me here, but they have enacted a law where being homeless is illegal, which I found out in Japan. It that's normal, and homeless is something where they dress in suits, they still go to work, but they don't have a home. Here, obviously, they don't go to work, but um, do they have what do they do with their homeless there? Is there anything like we go out and there's I'm involved in the community that goes out and gives like it got -11 earlier this week and last weekend we were making sure everybody has blankets, everybody has coats and knows where the shelters are and all of that. And granted, I some of them are there voluntarily. I understand that. Um, some of them are there because they can't get off the drugs. Because in order to go to the shelter, you have to be sober.
Right.
And there's one shelter here that you don't have to be, but bless their hearts that have to deal with it because I couldn't.
Right.
Because if you're on something, you're going to start fights, you're going to be irrational, you're going to cause issues. So I understand the no, being completely sober. I get it. But we went out to the ones and let them know, here's where you can go. You need to get there soon because it fills up. Once it fills up, you're done. You can't get in. But how do other countries handle homelessness like this?
Jenny says they do absolutely nothing. Here in Ireland, I will be very honest, they look after those who just came into Ireland, and unfortunately, that is the truth.
That's
And
pretty
it
much
is
how it
weird.
is here.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's no different.
weird. Mom was real upset because mom went for, to get assistance of some sort with food and food stamps and whatever. And I I wasn't there. I cannot say the logistics of it, but it was more of the people that had just came in illegally, like in a bus, um, took priority. So she didn't even get to get in that day, which I don't know, how they're handling this. We're here. We're already here. We're not dying. It's okay. But, and I understand if I went to another country, didn't know anybody, didn't, I would want help. Why I'd be taking off somewhere, I don't know, other than maybe escaping violence. But, we do, I don't understand the country giving hotels to people. And you guys know what I'm talking about and who I'm talking about. But, they give them hotels. Here you go. And then one family runs it. The next one comes from that country and runs it, after they've made their money to buy their home and on and on and on. What about our citizens? Why are we not giving?
Well, I am hoping that with this new mass deportation that's going on apparently right now, that they will start focusing on our own citizens, especially our veterans who are
Yes.
homeless.
Um, I hate to burst your bubble, but there was just something enacted just a little bit ago. I don't know if it was a bill or if it was signed, but they said there would be no more hiring of VA nurses or doctors. They're cutting funds for the VA.
Oh, Dad's gonna love that. Dad just told me today that he was informed that that the VA was going to farm him out to another doctor. Didn't say for what specifically,
Yeah.
um, but they are going to get him to someone else that they're not able to do.
Well, here's the thing, and I need to get more involved. And now that our parents are going, his parents, they're my parents. They're going down a little bit where cognitive abilities are a little less. Um, we need to get a little more involved. But from what I'm understanding, from what they're telling me, is, dad can't chew food anymore. And he got scammed. Um, they told him that he could get implants in Denver for, there was some grant that you could do this. They got there and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. But they're talking he has to pay over $2,000 to get his teeth done. And
Wow.
I'm not talking implants, I'm talking just even dentures. And he's VA, and they're not helping. They're not doing anything. So he has to go get another insurance. And that insurance deductible is going to be over $2,000 to be able to do anything for his teeth. I'm not understanding this. These people, granted, he did not fight, but still, he served. The people that fought are getting the same bullshit end of the stick.
Yeah.
I'm
See,
not.
that would be the same thing with both of my grandfathers because both of my grandfathers fought back in World War. Well, they didn't actually necessarily fight, but they still served in World War II. So if they were still alive today, they would be getting that obviously that same issue that's going on right now.
It's sad.
It really is.
We
Yeah,
pay
it's been the same
our.
thing because his dentures, neither one, he says don't fit right, so he has a harder time. He can still chew, but he has a harder time with the more chewy stuff.
Okay, he needs to get. I got this. I got this. Um, there's this stuff you can get at Walmart, and it's called Dentemp. And all it is a little tube. You put it inside the dentures. You heat it up. Put it inside the dentures. Have him bite down on it. It is a liner. It works. It will work for him. It's amazing. I used it when I first got mine. Um,
What's it
yeah,
called?
Dentemp.
Dentemp.
Yes. You put the
That's
little
like
bottle in hot
dental
water.
temperature.
Yeah, DENTEMP. You put it in hot water, put it on the dentures, have them bite down on it. When it cools off, cut around the edges where it's overspilled. It fits to his mouth perfectly. They're amazing. I love it.
Just real quick, I just wanted to say in response to Jenny, like just because I know we were asking a few other questions about her situation, she said that there are more non-Irish in shelter than Irish tonight.
Why?
That's what I wonder.
Do people like immigrate to your country as well to get help?
I actually have two investigators here. I'm not going to say who, but they are from the Chicago area that they were planning on moving to Ireland. Jenny
Well,
actually, I think, knows them too. So she might know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I have two people here who are going to be trying to move to Ireland and get
well,
legal citizenship, dual citizenship, if I should
And
say.
this is crazy because Ireland is a
Scotch.
complete island, and so that means they have to get there by ship or plane.
Or plane, yeah. No railroads or
If people
cars.
are homeless, chances are they're not on a plane.
You
Yep.
know, I honestly, I understand the reason for immigration. My adopted dad was an immigrant from Bulgaria, but he did it right. He came in, he learned. I'm telling you, he knows more than we as citizens know as far as history, this and that, because he had to take the whole test. I don't know how the test is today. I have no idea. But I'm going to tell you, my dad, till the day he died, and he died at work. The day he died, he had an American flag on his car, and he would say in his thick ass accent, he would say, America is the greatest country in the world. I'm going to say today he would be very ashamed. Since he's
Yes.
passed, what has happened. I'm just going to say it. But, he had to go from Bulgaria because the Iron Curtain had not come down yet. He had to go from Bulgaria to Turkey to a camp. And then they helped him from that camp to come here.
Bye
He
now.
ended up in Seattle, Washington. And from Seattle, Washington, he had to, learn the language, learn, whatever else it was. He was a doctor when he was in Bulgaria. When he came here, he had to be a veterinarian for the USDA because he could not get the terminology fast enough to get his PhD, a doctorate. So, fighting for that dream, I understand. I get that. Being given something for absolutely no reason because your country is not trying to kill you, I don't get.
Very right, John. I agree with what John said. America's gone downhill.
It really has,
It's
and
been going downhill for the
See,
longest time.
call me crazy if you like, but like for years ago, like with everything that's been going, I mean, there were times that I even thought to myself, I thought about either moving to Canada or even Mexico, practically, But
Oh, you don't want to move to Mexico.
oh,
you know,
what I was going to say, well, what's going on there
yeah,
now?
no,
No, I know
you
better.
never wanted to because
What's
the
that?
cartel in Mexico.
No, what I was going to say was, yeah, I mean, I know now, but years ago, I didn't really hear too much of it. Now I
No,
understand
never,
now, but
never.
if it was a lot more
Sit on.
safer, then hell yeah, I would have moved down there too. But not
No,
at this time.
no.
No.
Because I had a guy that was working. Now, mind you, I know y'all don't know oil fields real well because it's not in your area, but grunt work for the oil field, which means taking a shovel and working all day long, digging trenches with the shovel, getting paid minimum wage at best. Because a lot of Hispanics will take anything less than minimum wage as long as they're making something because they send it home to their families. And they're rich over there when they send it home. Anyway, this guy was, I'm talking bottom of the barrel, hardest worker, over 50 years old, and amazing man. But he came from Mexico. He was a veterinarian in Mexico. The cartel had him, like he had to pay a certain amount to keep safe. Well, he bucked that system and said, I'm not paying you anything for you doing nothing. So it's like, okay, so what are we doing? Uh, what?
Oh, that's me.
Okay.
I was
Yeah,
answering.
I was going to say
I
that
was
was
answering.
Jeremy writing that.
Yeah, I was answering Joshua, but
Oh, okay.
to interrupt you.
But that poor guy was educated as hell and digging trenches all day long in 110 degrees because he had to get out of there. I
Jeez.
understand that. I get that. But, some of these that we're dealing with now, I wouldn't live there. Absolutely not.
Not at this time, no.
And this was a long time ago. So it had been going on. It just hadn't been known. The thing that what's wrong with our country right now is these sniveling fucking kids that say, oh my God. Okay, my daughter runs a daycare. She is not allowed by the government, mind you. This is, I don't even know where the hell it came from. She's not allowed to tell a child that the mother says you can't say no to the child. You're not allowed to say no. They're doing something you can't say no, don't do that. You can't do that. You have to say, let's do this. The word no is not allowed.
Wow.
Saying yet.
When this child grows the hell up and the police tell him, you can't tell me no. That's the people we're raising right now.
Wow. That is just insane.
This is some bullshit.
It really is.
You think the cops are going to tell you, when you tell the cops, you can't arrest me because you can't tell me no? Are you out of your mind right now? But that's where we're headed.
Yeah. John also said that he's gone to Tijuana, Mexico, quite a few times when he was 18. Super sketchy, like the Wild West. I'm not surprised.
I was 18, super scared. Yeah. I went when I was younger and I absolutely loved it. And of course, this day and age, mind you, I'm 50. Let's put it out there. I'm not going to tell you I'm 21. They're 24, but
Boy, that's the number.
24. Well, no, that's Eileen's age.
that's what I'm talking about. But
A lot of people have taken 24.
yeah, I wish. I'm 24 a few times plus some. Anyway, and I'm thankful to be alive that long. I have no problem with that. But I went when I was 12. And my mom and dad, my dad he had money, but I wasn't allowed to have name brand shit. We shopped at Walmart because all our money went on vacations. I got to travel the world. I'm thankful for that now. I wasn't then. But we went to Mexico, and I distinctly remember my mother. She said she found some guy off the street. Just decided, oh, I like this one. Walked up, offered him hundreds of dollars, like probably 200 or 300, which was huge back then for them, and said, I will pay you this amount for you to take me in places that are not tourist areas. Take me where you go. Show me actual Mexico. We spent the day in this guy's car all day long. I remember everything we did, and it was amazing. Can you do that now? Absolutely not.
No.
You would not do that now.
Well, and even almost 20 years ago, I had the opportunity of going down to Mexico and Cancun. I mean, it was for a cruise, obviously. So we were only there for like 2 days in two different parts of the country. And I mean, 2 different parts of the country during the cruise. And I just remember being out. It was such a beautiful coastline that they had. And just people there were great. They were super friendly. And again, same thing like with you, Adrian. Would I go do that now? Definitely not. I mean, as I would pretty much say, again, with my knowledge, because I got a lot of knowledge when it comes to Mexico's history, I could certainly say that even still today, I still love Mexico. I love its history. I love its people. Yeah, I love its people. I love its culture. But with the way how things are going right now with Mexico, it's. I knew at this point that unless something huge changes, I just know my chances of trying to head back there are very slim.
Well, my neighbors on both sides here are Hispanic.
Well,
These over here have been here for generations. These over here, I absolutely adore these guys because they are from Mexico. They are not legal here except for on a work visa.
I was going to say sometimes they do cross the border to go to work and vice versa.
Oh, this is legal. I mean, it is legal. It's a work visa. And they change out every 6 months.
Nice backyard that I keep talking about.
Yeah. I love these people that are next door because I can somewhat talk to them, and I love their culture. I love their food. And don't think I'm going to be over there helping them cook because I will eat it. But these guys are amazing. I love that. But when I was in New Mexico, and you guys remember when I moved from New Mexico to here, the last job I had was at Phillips 66. And I'm going to tell you.
I remember you've had some close encounters there.
I did. And Zach was like, you need to get your fucking ass out of there because I can't protect you. And I'm like, I got my gun. I'm okay. But those guys would protect me with their life. They knew me. But my coworker had family in Mexico, and she would go visit family every few months. The last time she went, her sister, and I think they had 3 kids with them. They crossed the border, went into Tijuana, and the cartel got them as soon as they crossed. And they had them at gunpoint down on the ground, ARs, everything down on the ground, thinking they were someone else. And luckily they did not kill these people, but there was others that were killed, mistaken identity or they had fled their responsibilities of paying cartel. That stuff there is serious, whether you're white, whether you're Hispanic, whether you're from there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they basically will go after anyone regardless.
Josh, I understand. If I was her, I would not do it either, but she is a little more modern than I am and understands it. I do not understand it. I would have whooped my kids' asses, no questions asked. But you know,
Well,
uh,
not surprisingly, I mean, as you guys know, again, with my international connections, obviously I have several connections down in Mexico. And I often do check in with them every now and then, just really just to kind of make sure that they're okay, Pratsy. Just
yeah,
checking in on them, and a lot. I mean, unfortunately, I don't always hear from them all the time, but they still appreciate it. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, for like from where they're living, and they're like living in different Mexican states, as they're called, because
right.
there are also states in Mexico too.
Oh
They
yeah,
live in different states, and from what I know is that fortunately, a lot of these guys that I've spoken to, I mean, obviously, when it comes to paranormal investigations, they obviously do it no differently than us because, with the exception of it all being in Spanish, they live in good homes. They're in good neighborhoods. They do have kids of their own, who go to school and stuff, and that's all fine. I'm glad that they're doing fine, but it's only a matter of time though when you have the cartel, these other crime groups out there that could terrorize a neighborhood or a certain town area of that country. So so even though things are going well for them, like where they're living, and they don't, and we're talking about people who like are intending to stay. They've said they had no intention of trying to come up to the US. They're just trying to live in their country and still make a living and just
right.
live the best of their lives. So I'm glad they're doing fine, but it doesn't hurt to check every now and then because I'm
Oh,
sure they hear about it a lot on their Spanish news stations down there.
yeah, yeah. Well, and John knows. My ex-husband used to. Okay, let's start from the beginning. In Mexico, it is legal to fight roosters. We're gonna start there.
Oh, really?
Um,
They fight a lot of animals.
yeah, yeah. Um, my ex-husband raised roosters. Okay, we would when we stopped at this checkpoint. When you have to get checked going from New Mexico to Mexico, um, the cartel would meet them there and they'd be like, the people that were checking, the guards would be like, okay, I need to see what's in your truck. And all of a sudden somebody would walk up and they'd talk to them and they'd be like, okay, go. That's how easy it was if you were in. Now, how much do you owe them? I don't know. I got out before I found out any of that bullshit because that's not, I'm not okay with any of that. But that's really how it was. And I don't know, at this point where he's at now. Did he move to Mexico? God, I hope so. But not my problem anymore. But that is how easy it is to just give a call. Hey, I'm going to this and this fight in Tijuana, and you got people there to make sure
Yep.
you get through it. I'm not. I'm not about all that, but that's why I live a different life now. But yeah, it's scary and
You
it's
know,
serious.
it's scary and it's sad too because this might sound a little crazy, but um, I actually have been watching a particular like on a news channel on YouTube, and it's actually I only just watched just basically the weather portion of it. I guess it's always sometimes nice to see what the weather's like in other countries, especially
Sure,
north and south of the border. Like
sure.
it gets to a point where you're just tired of always seeing. I mean, I always check the weather here in this country, but you just kind of wonder what's going on up in Canada and Mexico. So I found two news stations, one for Canada and one for Mexico, And it's to me, it's just interesting just seeing everything north and south of the border. But more importantly, not surprisingly though, the one that I watch in Mexico, yes, it's all in Spanish, but of course they got captions, so I'm able to watch it that way. And I look at I watch the weather station. I just think to myself, it just looks so. They just make it look like it's so normal down there, like it's over here. Because you have your meteorologist. He's got a nice suit on. They got this nice weather map and stuff. It almost looks like
Not the ones that I've been seeing.
yeah. Well, no, it's just like it almost make it look like it's no different down there than it is up here. But the
I
sad
agree,
part,
John.
yeah, but the
I
sad part
got,
is, it's
I
like
got reels that come up on my Facebook where they have female meteorologists in Mexico and they're wearing very provocative clothing.
that's the other. I was gonna bring that up. It's
That
funny.
is
The guy,
not storm chasers. Those are, to
yeah,
get
I was gonna say. I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, like the men, they still wear the typical suits, but the women, though, they wear these very revealing outfits, and it's not just Mexico; it's also through different portions of Central America too. And I've often wondered, thinking, how come they wear those type of outfits? And they're like, because it's no different than like if you have like a kid watching Weather Channel over here, like I used to do. I
They
mean, like,
have
it's that
different
kind of
standards and practices as we do.
yeah.
Nick, Nick,
But here, let's make it quite easy for you. Two words for both countries: Canada, cold, snow.
Nick,
Mexico, dry, heat.
no, Nick. It's all about boobies.
Why did I feel like you were going to say that?
Which leads to motorboating. Did you read about that? Are we good with that?
What was that?
Are, which leads to motorboat. Are we good with that? Did we read about that?
No, I just only saw that picture that you sent, and that was it.
Nick, we need to
Oh,
learn about
okay.
motorboating.
What about your reading assignment?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I
Oh,
finally finished.
oh my God. And he didn't say something ahead of time. Seriously?
That means he didn't like it.
I'm just going to say right now, God, holy cow, that was quite a twist and reveal. Now I'm afraid about trying to go out, like trying to meet somebody now. Thanks a lot for giving me more nightmares, Jeremy.
Yeah, well, he's pretty good at that because I have a few.
Oh, you should have seen the one that I wrote earlier this week.
No, right now the veil is seriously, seriously thin, and we're having enough issues. And then with people with their mental health, with all this going on, um, yeah, I'm not sure about all that. Um, okay, somebody said something I wanted to.
John says they warned like half the province in Canada. I'm not sure. What does he mean by that?
Oh, oh, yeah, John explained that. So I want to ask a question to the audience, you guys. So we all know Canada, Japan have a different medical system than we do, right?
Yes.
So everybody gets the same medical treatment. It doesn't matter. It's not a matter of who gets this insurance, that. It's everybody gets the same medical treatment. So I want y'all's opinion on, boy, that sounded redneck, didn't it? So
Well, you got to fill in for Eileen too sometimes.
Yeah, of course.
I'm as
Like
redneck
you,
as
you
it
can
gets.
do the y'alls and all of that, and I'll do the Illinois thing.
Hey, watch it. We've been doing great so far without that.
I'm as redneck as it gets. It just comes out sometimes worse than others. Somebody told me the other day something about, oh, I love your accent, your Southern accent. I'm like, don't let it fool you. I am still a bitch. Just no. Sweet Southern accent's what she said. I said, Don't let it fool you. Um, but okay, so those countries have everybody has equal medical care, right? We have whatever your insurance covers. So if you're able to afford the best insurance or able to pay outright to the best doctor and specialist and whatever the case might be, what do you think is better? So these people get, it doesn't matter how much money you have, you cannot pay for the best medical care because you are still in line. It doesn't make any difference here. If you have all the money in the world, you can pay for the best specialists in the world. Which one is better? I mean, like, what do you think?
I would I would go on the side of everybody deserves medical attention.
Mhm.
You shouldn't have to worry about, oh, am I going to be denied for this? Because I've been denied for stuff.
Mhm.
Tim had been denied for certain things because there was a doctor sitting in the office of the insurance company who never saw him say, oh, you don't need shoulder surgery.
Yep.
The hell I do.
Yep.
Um, you should not have to worry about getting the proper medical care, um, being mistreated. You should not have to worry about that. And you should not have to worry about paying an ungodly amount of money a month just for your insurance premiums.
Those there's a
John,
lot of
that's true. I have heard that as well.
yeah, Canadian. What John said.
Yeah, used to you could not get private insurance whatsoever. It was all equal. And in Japan it is all equal. But and Joshua, I completely agree that mental health,
Yeah.
um I am very lucky that my company, the company I work for, you get free, absolutely free mental health. So does your family. You get up to, I think, 10 sessions a year for your family and unlimited for you. So anybody in your household gets 10 free sessions, which I think is amazing. I, I, I love that fact. But, okay, insane cost of medicine. Yeah, yeah. Um, my son in Japan, like he was a wrestler, so which by the way, he got in the ring again this week
Huh, nice.
after he had quit wrestling. He is not actually wrestling right now, but he's back in the ring.
Okay.
I didn't think that was going to last.
Uh,
You do not leave the wrestling profession.
he better fucking leave that because he is getting too old for this shit. But um, let's say he hurt his knee, which he has quite often. As soon as you leave that ring, you get to go to a doctor and get the therapy, the physical therapy, the needling, the whatever they think you need, immediate. Yeah, it's nothing out of pocket. It's done. I don't know how it works exactly. I haven't gotten to check that out, but not that it's going to do us any good, but the price of insurance is absolutely unreal here. Absolutely unreal. Right to work laws need to be abolished in this country. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. Um, I don't know.
But the right to work, the one problem that I have is that you can be fired without explanation.
Yeah.
What the
No, I've heard of
hell,
that.
John? What?
Yeah, he said an average cost of treatment for a rattlesnake bite in the U.S. is $150,000.
How's that possible?
I don't know, and I was going to say, like Adrian, in your case, I mean, I'm sure it's not uncommon in the Southwest area that people have gotten bitten by rattlesnakes every now and then.
Not at all. I lived in Kentucky. I lived in Oklahoma, which Oklahoma is more. Um, water moccasins.
Colorado, I think, is more copperheads. I think, especially in the mountainous regions.
Oklahoma is copperheads, and I'll tell you right now, if you smell almonds, just run, because if there's no almonds around you, it's copperhead. But it is sad. And it's not our doctors making the money. It's not our hospitals making the money. It's pharmaceuticals making the money. And I'm going to tell you something right now. And I know she's not here to um, vouch for this, but I know she would. The reason that Jan's grandbaby is this sick is because the baby it already has immune issues. It got the shot, the vaccines that it's, normally supposed to get. And um, influenza B is one of them. Its body couldn't fight it off. And that's why it has RSV and this, and is having a real hard time fighting it.
Ugh.
I am a firm believer. You can call me a conspiracy theorist, whatever. I am a firm believer that our government is working with pharmaceutical companies and keeping us sick. Otherwise, why would they keep giving pain pills to make you addicted, to make you keep? We have a cure for cancer. I know we
It,
do.
it makes sense.
It
So
does. It really
why in
does.
the hell are people suffering like this? We have a cure for cancer. We have it. But yet they have to keep you sick until you die. And they're going to keep you alive just long enough to keep you giving you that fucking medicine so that they can keep making money off that medicine.
It's sick.
I have the old herbal remedies and things like that. I'm telling you, they work. Are they good? Absolutely not. They're not going to taste like cherries, but they work. Yeah.
Something interesting that I came across here. Uh, List of people. Okay. Something interesting that I came across. The federal pardons that each of our presidents make.
I don't agree with any of that bullshit.
Joe Biden set the record for most pardons of any president in our history
Yeah.
at 8,064.
And I don't agree with that either, because that was more like a fuck you to Trump. And I don't agree with that.
Right.
The second highest pardons was Andrew Johnson at 7,654. Many of those were ex Confederates.
Okay. Okay.
So think about that.
Yeah.
That was during his presidency of 1865 to
Right.
1869.
Right.
160 years later, thereabouts.
Almost 160.
160 years later, Joe Biden pardons 8,000, breaking his record.
Right.
George H.W. Bush, 77.
Wow.
Holy cow.
Bill Clinton, 459. George W. Bush, 200.
That I could definitely see. Yeah.
Barack Obama, 1,927. And Donald Trump, between now two presidencies, 1,740, which 1,500 of those are for the January 6th attacks, meaning he had only 200 pardons beforehand. It's pretty interesting.
Yep.
Well, and that means justice, our justice system didn't do its thing.
No, it didn't, and that's the one thing that I sometimes can't think. Just can't help but think about, especially again like with the right, especially all the families that were affected. There's no justice for them at this point.
No. So for Trump, it was 237 that he pardoned during his first presidency. And then he added another 1,500. Um, Another thing that kind of threw me off was Joe Biden practically pardoned his entire family.
Yep, I heard
Yeah.
about that. Yep.
Yeah.
His son back in December, and then everyone else except for himself. But I don't know if a president is allowed to pardon himself or not.
I don't think so, from what I've heard.
Oh, I think it will now.
Well, probably will now, but before that, I heard before that they couldn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it really has been
Yo,
weaponized.
Suki,
God.
we're all over the place today.
Yeah, we are.
We we went from talking about some of the executive orders to the fires to hurricanes, tornadoes.
Tornadoes.
What else we talk about? Oh,
There is actually
beans in Chile.
there actually is something I want to say just real quick since we've talked about all these different subjects. This is something I think John's going to like since I better say it now while he's still watching. John, this isn't going to be until March, and although I said before that I'm trying to get Nick Files back up on the network, there is a special presentation that I'm going to be putting together soon because this year marks March 18th. Well, it's going to be the day afterwards.
Hi, Zach.
Hi.
March 8th,
Yeah. Of course, he's got Chip.
Zach, don't go away. Zach, don't go
Why
away.
are they hidden? Why in the fuck are they hidden? They could be in that kitchen where anybody could have them, but they're hidden in your damn drawer.
You mean
Hey,
like my
hey.
dad who eats them every freaking time?
Your dad's got his own up there
Yeah.
because I just put them away.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach, get back on camera.
Uh-oh. That'll learn me.
Since we're plugging things, you're February 22nd.
Yeah. February 22nd, we've got the 22-hour podcast, A Mission for Healthy Heroes. And we've got a couple of really cool things. Adrian and I talked to a guy the other day who's going to give us a signed print that's...
Give me a signed print
Well,
to
he's-
put in my office.
yeah, but he's also giving us one to give away.
Oh, well, but one for my office.
God, see? Just always chirp, 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 chirp.
Do you want to chirp?
Yeah, but you know what? Look, we've kind of extended this. Yet suicide and mental health, suicide and mental health is a dangerous thing right now, and we really want to make sure that any of our heroes are taken care of. And so, you know, we want to talk about anything that is out there that is available for people who need us to be there. So it's fourth year, and it's going to be live right here on Things Network.
And I have to put up with his ass the next day after he's been up for 22 hours. I need some credit for that, guys.
Okay, yeah. I usually get up and work, but I can't because it's going to be Sunday.
Oh my God.
So,
He can't work.
but anyway, yeah. So it's coming up. If you guys would like to find out more, just go to Community Pay It Forward. There's all kinds of information on Facebook, or go to communitypayitforward.us and you can find out more.
Hold on, John.
So,
I love you.
yeah, love you too. Have fun, everybody.
Thanks.
I'm going to eat my chips.
Okay.
I'm going through your drawer.
I needed
Yeah,
it.
what I was going to say real quick.
Wow.
Yeah, John's dying to know. So I'm going to be doing this in late March, mid-March, I should say, March 19th. But this year's as he probably knows, is going to be marking the 100th anniversary of the
Oh,
great deadliest tornado in U.S. history, the Great Tri-State Tornado of March 18th, 1925. I'm going to be I'm planning on creating a slideshow for that one in anticipation for the anniversary. So just want to let you know about it, John, ahead of time if you want to check it out. We're going to go through a lot of detail. I'm going to be putting a lot of details together with this slideshow. So just thought I'd just throw that out for you in case you want to check it out. So there you go. He was dying to know. I'm done.
is that what he was asking about?
Yeah, he was. I was. That's when Zach came in, and I just thought once when Jeremy called, I said, all right, I'll wait until Zach's done. So
Yeah,
that's
I had to get him because I knew that once Zach walks away, he's gone.
yeah, exactly.
Usually.
Yeah, John, if you want to help me out with it, that's totally fine. It's still in very early. I haven't put it together just yet, but I'm going to start putting it together sometime around February.
Y'all see the ship?
What is that?
Oh,
We got candy.
Candy?
Hey, John, do you have any availability
how much
to
a Reese?
on next Friday night?
I can't open this because it's more than one.
And then these are the chocolate covered blueberries I got for my birthday. Actually, no, those ones are the dark chocolate.
Ew, they're crystallized. Gross.
It's okay.
So,
Iron gut.
so in a couple of weeks, I'm bringing back 13th Dimension, and I'm doing a special episode on aliens and UFOs. So I am going to have a panel of 3 people joining me. All are confirmed, and we're just going to have a grand old debate on that.
John's asking what time.
Let's see. So what time zone are you in, John? Are you Central or are you Mountain?
He's mountain.
I was going to say, I think he's Mountain. He also says he's hoping to get to Nebraska and Iowa this year for a chase.
Jenny, do me a favor.
Yeah, Jenny.
I don't care what time it is. Let me know you're okay.
Yeah,
Just
keep
send
us
a text.
updated.
Just send a text. I'm okay. It's gone. Whatever the case might be, send a text.
Yeah, just want to know that you're okay.
Yeah, because that warning is supposed to be in effect for 6 hours.
He's in CST.
East Central. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
the show will be starting at 7 for you Friday
That'll
night.
be the same time as me.
Jenny, I don't know if you know, get in the center room of your house. If there's a bathroom close to the center of your house, get in the tub when it's really close. Put blankets over you, put anything over you where the windows, when they shatter, cannot hit you.
Most importantly, gather your pets too, especially.
Oh, she will. I ain't got to tell her that.
Yeah, that's something.
They'll be in there
That's
with
always. It's always something I think about a lot. He lives an hour from Mountain Time. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So, John, you're talking about all these places you're traveling. When are you coming to Colorado?
Colorado has quite its share of tornadoes too, so I would have figured he
We're not
would
talking about tornadoes. I'm just talking about him coming to Colorado.
have. Okay. Noise is coming from her chimney, and she
Yeah.
heard that
Ooh,
roof.
I wouldn't like that.
No, I wouldn't like to. Okay, so I got to ask at this point because since she's at. If you don't mind me asking, Jenny, are your ears popping or anything like that? Because I know the air pressure can change dramatically from that.
No, I never thought about that.
Sometimes it can. Yeah, your ears can pop as a result because the barometric pressure is changing from such the force of the wind.
Oh, yeah.
Never thought about that.
John's not far from Colorado.
So John, if you'd be available, the show would start at 7 o'clock. I'd like to have you on 13th Dimension to talk about your storm chasing.
Now that
So why haven't you come to see me? No, that's first and foremost. Dude,
about 3 hours
You're
to
one of-
Pueblo and 6 from Denver from Amarillo.
Oh, Joshua, good point about the pets because Jenny has a bunch of dogs there. So
Penny
if
will take
she
care of those pets before she takes care of herself. I promise.
right, but if she's not used to this kind of weather, imagine what they are going through.
Oh yeah, yeah, but she'll have them in her lap. I promise. John,
She
I'm an
doesn't
hour from
have enough
Denver.
lap for all them dogs.
I'm an hour from Denver. Ask any of these guys. I got plenty of room. Come down. Let's do something.
Okay, John just said that would be cool. I'm going to guess that means I have a guest next week.
That would be, now again. Now that is a show I would definitely watch because I'd like to hear a lot of his travels.
Yeah, because I like to do different things for 13th Dimension. So storm chasing is not one I have covered yet. So I would definitely like to do that.
You, I
Okay,
haven't even
yeah,
told
send
you.
it to
Oh,
me.
we're still snoring. Of course she is.
You know what? I think I still have your old number in my phone.
I actually have a friend of mine who really wants to try to storm chase. Hopefully later this year during the summer. I mean, there's no guarantee, but we're thinking about possibly doing some kind of chase later this year, depending on the weather, and of course
Be careful.
relying on our safety too.
Yeah, please be careful. Don't just go out there and
I,
do that on
what
your
I'm
own.
actually doing, and she's agreed with me on this. It's actually that same friend I was telling about earlier. I thought the best way, even though I kind of know a lot about it, there's still a lot for me to learn about this stuff even now. But I thought for her education, along with some of my other friends that want to do this, I have a few others interested too. I thought the best way to try to educate her is actually, as I pointed out earlier, show her all these videos that I got because a lot of these videos do have a lot of the education that is necessary. But even then, once I show them, I already know that even if I was to show her all of them, it's to obviously show that even that may not be enough. That there's
No.
there's a lot of other like put it this way, there's a lot of stuff you'll hear from the videos and shows, or in other words, there's a lot of written rules, but there's also a lot of unwritten rules when it comes to storm chasing and things that you got to be prepared for before you head out there. There's already one thing out there that I already had made it clear because I gone through something similar like this myself. I don't know if John does this, but I will not go storm chasing at night can be very hazardous. There's a few chasers out there that will go out at night, but I won't under any circumstances. It's just
Okay,
not worth the risk.
let's think about this. Do you remember you just told the story how you were shaking when the thunder hit?
Oh yeah,
Do not go storm chasing. Do not go out there storm chasing. Just do not do it.
I've, it's just something I've it's just something I've always wanted to do since I was young. Although I will say this, I will admit to one thing though. And John actually said something about this earlier in the chat when I was talking about the two tornadoes that went through Moore, Oklahoma. He also brought up that 2013 was also the year when that other horrific, massive tornado struck El Reno, and that was the one that killed the four storm chasers. And I still remember hearing about it on the news to this, even to this day. And I gotta admit, after hearing that four storm chasers were killed from this massive tornado, it literally did change things completely. For it turned my interest. I mean, yeah, you've heard of storm. I've heard of storm chasers prior to that, who've gotten killed, but most of it's usually car related accidents or something like that, or that they weren't wearing a seatbelt. No, this was the first they were actually killed by this tornado, and it just turned everything upside down for me. So I am a lot more cautious than what I used to be like. I mean, I I really want to still do it, but it's hard to say at the same time.
Well, stay tuned next
No.
week, Nick, and I will have John give you the ins and outs as to why to become a storm chaser and why not to become a storm chaser.
I'd love to know. I'd love to know.
Yeah.
Because you can die is why not?
And John, I'm already working on the banner for this.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not wasting any time. It's pretty
Please
exciting
let me
that
know. If
pretty
you don't let me know by morning, I'm going to text you and ask you.
John says that he studies it all the time. And each part of the U.S. has its own storm
He
characteristics. He
does.
does a lot of night chasing, by the way, but that's because he does it for the news, and he's one of the very few people that will do it for his local area, which
Mhm.
makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah, he's been interested in this for a long time. I know that.
he's
But
chased. I mean, I'm really impressive with his pictures that he takes.
but yeah, John, you're this far from me. Okay. I'm in Greeley. You have an open room here. Anytime you want it, come visit.
John says her daughter loves wind and tornadoes. She's excited, and she is not. The wind is loud, but has a huge fear of. Oh, she has a huge. Oh, Jenny has a huge fear of thunder and lightning.
No.
of thunder and lightning. As long as I'm in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night, Josh. You stay
Yeah,
warm.
send me some shots, John. We'll show them during the show.
Yeah, you'll be. They're just. They are just some. They are just so impressed with what he can, especially those that are captured out on the plains, like the Oklahoma, Texas panhandles,
Yeah.
right? Which that's like the almost epicenter of a lot of these severe storms.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of tornadoes too, there's also another anniversary. It's coming up. John knows about this too. Later this year in August will mark the 35th anniversary of the Plainfield tornado that struck Plainfield here in August of 1990, which to this day remains the only F5 tornado to have struck during the month F5 or EF5 that struck during the month of August, and the only one that's ever struck close to the Chicago metro area. There are no videos or photographs of the tornado itself, but there is a video of the storm that spawned it, though, to this day.
All right,
Okay.
guys. Do we have somebody behind us?
No, Myth and Mystery is not on tonight.
Okay.
So yeah, they're gonna have a
Real
special
quick, I want to acknowledge a couple of birthdays. Last week was Linda Burns' birthday. She is the host of Haunted Memoirs on Saturdays, and also this year's host for the Para-Unity Convention in
awesome.
Peru. Um, and yesterday was Greg Bakken's birthday, and he's supposed to be on tonight for Myth and Mystery, but they are not. Naturally, they hadn't been on for the last couple of weeks, so I don't know if they're taking a break or not. Then our next birthday isn't for another couple of weeks, and that will be Jill.
Shooting down my chimney. The noise is not okay. The wind noise alone.
Please be safe, Jenny.
Yeah. That's why text me. Message me. Let me know what's going on.
What what I would be worried about is if the eye of the storm is going over where she's at.
Mm-hmm.
Which always gives that uh, popular misconception that it's all over when in reality it's not.
Yeah.
And not to mention the eye wall, which is the most severe part of the storm. That's where you don't want to be.
At this point, Jenny, don't go outside. If your gate was shut and now it's not going to be if you go out there and shut it again. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, just wait until it's past. It's not worth the risk. And
No.
Jeremy, I forgot to mention, I couldn't help but notice. I have noticed this several times. I mean, for the last few minutes, that my name has been changed to Nicopedia. I knew that was you who did that.
You just noticed?
No, I have noticed for several minutes. I just didn't have the opportunity to say it yet.
I did that 2 hours ago.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't notice until like probably the last 20
Re-
20 minutes. Half
Remember when I made the comment that you know a little bit about everything and then said, oh, wait,
Yeah,
let me
I'm
do
not.
this. That's
I'm
when I
not
did it.
surprised. That's when the other side of the eye passes. Yeah, that's usually the even worse part too, because then they're going the opposite direction.
Yeah, just Jenny, just let us know how things are going. Hopefully, it won't be as bad as what it sounds like. Because sometimes the bark is worse than the bite.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
center of your house, like John said, center of your house. If the center is the bathroom, get in the bathtub. Put I don't care if you put a mattress over the top of you. You and the animals and the kids put a mattress over the top of you just so the glass doesn't hit.
Yeah, it's well, and like what also John said. Oh, definitely keep away from doors and doors to outside and windows.
yeah.
Mhm.
Uh,
Um,
Josh said she thinks He thinks he's back. I think Miriam's is in danger in L.A. with the fires.
well, she is live
I
right
hope
now.
not.
She is live right now on her YouTube page. She's doing some sort of a meditation thing. So she must not be too concerned unless she lives in an area that's not in any danger.
John, I know we can. We definitely know a lot about this stuff.
If she walks her dog, she'd rather have the bite.
Yeah, I get that. I really do because that shit's scary. Yeah, let me know how you are. Let me know
John, I'm
you're
gonna
okay.
have to send you a. I'm gonna have to send you a story that actually involves tornadoes. Speaking of which, because there's also somebody else that really likes this stuff. This guy named Kurt who lives in Utah. He wrote actually a scary stories book, and he actually incorporated that element of tornadoes, and because he actually has a real big interest in it. So it's funny that we're. I think you'll like the story if I'm able to send it to you. It's an audio book.
Speaking of the scary stories, the one that I sent you, Nick, you
Yes.
think that would qualify as young adult? Or do you think it might be too sophisticated to be young adult?
I think it could. It's not explicit or terribly graphic. Um, I would
Well,
certainly.
I tried to make sure I didn't have any swear words in it at all.
I did notice, though. I mean, I don't know if you noticed, there were some mistypes in some parts of the story.
There's mistypes everywhere when it comes to a. You got the first draft.
Okay, yeah. Well, in that case, other than that, I thought it was really good, and I think it would be suitable. That's just my personal opinion, though.
Okay.
Oh, John says he really wants to chase Colorado this year, Adrian.
I'm here. You have a bedroom anytime you're ready. I promise. Ask these guys. It's
Is there
here.
money in this? Are you
The
able
storm
to
chasing?
make money storm chasing?
There is.
There is to a
Oh
point.
yeah. There's I again with one of my videos, one of the documentaries I have, they actually say at some point that some people do, they basically play with storm chasing differently. Some people chase tornadoes as part of the job. Others chase it as part of a career. And of course, others chase it as just part of a hobby.
Oh, oh.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. In Colorado, I don't see a lot of tornadoes. We're down kind of, past the foothills of the Rockies. We don't get a whole lot of weather here. Like the Rockies can get freezing cold and nasty snow, and we might get half an inch and still be above freezing.
Again,
I'm not complaining.
I guess again with me being Nicosia, last time Colorado really had a major tornado was in Windsor, the Windsor, Colorado tornado of 2008. It was
Windsor
yeah,
is like 10 minutes from us.
yeah, it was like it was an EF3, a wedge, and I mean, surprisingly, only like one or two people died, I think, but it was a huge tornado, like mile wide, and
We ain't playing. When they say tornado, we're gone. Like,
well, what's
we're
kind
not
of funny?
facing it.
Well, this tornado was basically notorious. It actually became known as the Rocky Mountain Twister, where it hit.
But, John, it's not just tornadoes. We have lots of haunted places here. Um, yeah, it's actually kind of fun,
I
including.
really want to go back to
We did
Colorado
anything in
too.
the last 3 years.
Well, John is actually, I know this for a fact, John is a sensitive. He's an empath. So if I put him up in one of those rooms, he's going to know it all.
I really would like to get back to Colorado. I mean, I know we've got a lot on our plates, Jeremy, but I'm hoping one of these days we could try to make another trip like we did now almost 2 years ago.
Well, the next time I'll be going through Colorado won't be till next year.
Oh, Zach says that's unacceptable. He said this is your time to come through here, and he doesn't give two shits where it is you're headed for your going. It comes through here.
You understand how out of the way Colorado is going to Louisiana, right?
No, he does not. He only understands this is your time to do your bowling thing. Your bowling thing comes through here, and that's it.
Hey, well, Adrian, this is your chance to become a teacher and teach him some geography.
If I could teach that man anything, do you think I'd be sitting where I'm at right now?
I just realized. Imagine this: that if you have to go to college, you literally would have to make a whole triangle trip because you'd have to go all the way down to Louisiana, and you got to go back up. In this case, to Colorado, and then go all the way straight back to Indiana. It's like a triangle shape.
Mm-hmm.
We ought to call it the bowling triangle or something in this case.
Oh no, my bowling triangle is Fort Wayne, Reno, Las Vegas. That's my triangle.
John says, I still urban explorer, been in Texas and New Mexico, but before Chase says you can't take the paranormal out of the paranormal guy. And Josh said fire's
You
most
get
terrifying.
there for a while, John.
That's okay. You come here. Remember how it was in, I'm not going to say his name, but LA? You were able to feel, hear, see before. Yeah, it's here. I promise you. And you're more powerful than I am when it comes to empathic and impressions. I get them here. There is more dead
Jill!
here than there is living.
Jill's here now.
Well, how you doing, honey?
Yeah, we just talking about you a minute ago, Joe.
Yep. See now, Josh
Your,
says
that your
fire's.
birthday is coming up in a couple of weeks. Need to
Josh
see
said-
live at my that won't happen. They actually have a rule at this tournament that no videos, no live videos taken unless somebody is on par for shooting a 300, and that's only for that last frame.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I don't
they have a rule against that. I got a message from Jenny. It's a voice clip, but I won't be able to listen to it until after the show's done.
Josh said also at one point saying, see, fire is the most terrifying amongst others. We had 2 fire breakouts on my property in the same night. It's a silent killer. Indeed it is.
Yeah, it is. And it sucks.
And then John says, I can still sense sense stuff. I'm just not involved in it full time like I was.
Yeah, it's all right. You'll sense all you need to here.
John, neither am I, to be honest. I only done 3 investigations last year. I'm actually getting ready to do my first one of the year on Saturday,
This Saturday?
doing a residential.
Yeah, I
So-
do enough here that I'm good.
I'm trying to basically build up more investigations for myself because, like I said, this year is a special year marking my 20th anniversary involved in the field. So I definitely really want to try to get out and expand and, just try to get out a lot more often. And especially last year because I didn't really do so much as I was hoping.
Yeah, none of us did, I don't think, like we should have.
Yeah, because honestly, the only time I went out was that one time when we went out to the temple, Jeremy, and also the residential location up in Wisconsin. And that was it. I mean, yes, I still went to the Paracons, but actual investigations.
Temple? What
It was
temple?
that
Oh,
The
the
Abbey?
lodge, the lodge,
no, not the lodge in Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Masonic.
not that one. No, not the Abbey.
Wait, temple?
I meant to say lodge, but just those two. I still went to the cons, but other than
Speaking of that, Nick, that lodge has been sold now, so it's no longer available for anybody.
Oh, shit.
That means I don't get. We can't. Not only can we not go back, I'm not going to be able to see that cat anymore. That was there. That was such a cute cat.
It was, but holy cow! It wanted inside.
It did. Well, it was cold out the time we
Yeah,
went.
It
yeah. Bill's
was.
right.
It
He
was.
was like the friendliest cat I think I ever met. Like she did not want to let me go. Like she was on my lap. She was just so friendly.
Yeah.
I
But
just wish I
She's
could
a
very
member.
skittish about accepting any food too.
yeah, I if it was a stray, and if my mom would have, I would have taken that cat home with me because she was just so adorable. But I know
Would
I heard,
Michael had her in the car?
huh?
Would Michael had let you had her in the car?
That too. I would have to check with Mike on that, but I think just the way how her appearance was, it was obviously clear that somebody was taking care of her. So it was obviously owned by somebody. But I'm gonna miss that cat overall though, because I was hoping I'd see her at least one more time.
I was worried with the building in general because it was right across the street from the
Yeah,
railroad.
I know that was a concern too.
Were you there when the train went by?
There was at least a train or two that went past the railroad that were on the railroad track. So I don't know
It,
exactly which train you're talking about, but I know I saw at least one or two.
well, there was a train that went by at very high speed while I was there.
Oh, that I probably wasn't there for then.
And that probably happened on the second time. And I remember it was going so fast, at least 60, 80 mile an hour. And
Jeez.
right across the street, and I'm thinking, if that train derails, we have no
That
warning,
then the lodge would have been history at that point.
or everything would have been the house
Everything.
right
Oh,
next
that
to
would have
us.
crushed everything.
Yeah.
That
Okay, guys.
that
It
would
is
that would have been
almost
over.
8:30 here. I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
Hey,
Did
are
Zach
you
give
going
you
to?
dinner yet?
Yes, I ate dinner. I had my low carb tacos, and I'm good.
Okay.
Well, John, I'm just going to say for him, I'll see if I can send that story I was telling you about earlier so you can listen to it. I think you're going to like it. I mean, yeah, it's creepy, but it has a tornado in it, and I think it's one you're going to enjoy. And I'll let you know if I need. Oh, hey, Nikki, um, I I'll let you know if I need help for the tri-state tornado presentation. So we'll definitely keep in touch.
Okay. Well, we're going to call it a night until next week, where we'll have something planned at some point.
We got to get some
Let-
guests on.
yeah.
I don't know. I end up like derailing from the guests, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised, at least Adrian, that we haven't even had Jan on for quite a while. But
She
then
has
again,
Well,
been
she hasn't been
so
feeling good.
busy.
well,
No, she's fine. She's fine. Um, she's actually doing really well after her surgeries, but
yeah, I was
the
going to say aside from the surgery, yeah,
yeah, she's doing really well. It's her grandkids that have been sick off and on, and then my kids, and she's dealing with my kids as well as hers. So
right, right. And that's understandable too.
So next week we will hopefully have everybody on.
Including Eileen.
Thought we were going to have Eileen, but last minute she wasn't able to.
Nope, I guess not. But at least she didn't taunt me this. She wasn't taunting me about. I always say I'm not even going to say.
Illinois,
Oh, come on!
Well, which would you rather have, Illinois or
Illinois.
or roaches, or boobies, or motorboats.
Oh my God.
I was really hoping you would jump onto that one.
Jill, I already said something about that. In fact, it's funny she said that. I can't wait to see your John or your show, Jeremy or Nick, one of these shows. That would
Oh
be
yeah,
awesome.
Jill wasn't on when I announced it, so Jill, I will have 13th Dimension back on next week, and John's going to be my guest. We're going to be talking about Storm Chase.
God. And I was just saying earlier too, Jill, that I'm trying to get Nick Files back, and I'm going to try to do a special episode of the show for the Great Tri-State Tornado of 1925 because it's going to mark the 100th anniversary of that one, and John is probably going to be helping me out with this, with putting this slideshow together. So we're going to have some association with them. So it's gonna be great over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, let's see. Oh no, she was here when I announced John on the show. Yeah,
I don't know.
she did mention that. Okay.
Oh, I didn't see it, but
Yeah. Alien conversation. Well, Jill, in 2 weeks on Friday night, I will have an alien UFO conversation with a small panel with me. So
I gotta say, is that also involving Wayne and Mark, since they talk about aliens all the time?
who?
Wayne and Mark, who do the show.
Oh no,
Oh, it's not. I was expecting they would have been on it.
I I don't get a chance to watch their shows because I'm working.
Yeah, because all they talk about is they always like
I don't know what they talk about on their shows.
they usually talk about aliens, or as we always like to yell, as they always like to yell out, aliens.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's not them two. All three of my guests are in different parts of America.
Okay, that should be interesting.
So, okay, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We will be back next week. 13th Dimension comes back next week. Mark's on wrestling. I don't know, and Don and I are talking about doing a second wrestling show now. Going to be a wrestle reactions. So
Kate, we're just about to end. She's like, you're still going.
yeah, we're closing up shop for the night.
No, John, plug that place. The haunting. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
paranormal
Thank you.
documentary.
I have that DVD. I liked it. Too short.
Yeah, yeah.
And by the way, John used my dog whistle experiment on that documentary.
Awesome.
I gotta watch it now.
Yeah, this I gotta see.
He didn't actually feature it, but you could hear him use it and actually saying that's me with the dog whistle or something like that. Just very brief, but still.
Kate,
I was on that show.
Kate, you have some questions. How come you didn't ask earlier? She's like, I still have questions, by the way.
Next
She
show.
always has questions.
Yeah, she does. She always
She's still
does.
trying to learn the American way.
Yes, I know. You just saw that too, Kate. Laura just also had tuned in just a few minutes ago, but got some confirmation on what? Said he got some. She said she got some confirmation. I'm not sure what she's referring to.
I'm not either. All right, y'all.
Yeah.
We got to get off here.
Yeah.
So
I got
everybody have a good night.
Yep.
Thank you for playing along. Definitely a very active audience tonight.
Yeah. A real big one.
Yeah.
She'll save them for next week.
Real happy with that.
You'll have to interview John on her own. That would be cool too. That Kate had John on her show, because it's not always paranormal that she talks about stuff. So I think she'd be great for Got Stories to tell.
Oh, he can talk paranormal with the best of them. I promise you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, everybody out there have a good night. Be safe out there. Jenny, be safe.
Yes, please be safe.
And we will see you all next week. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.